Hi there, and welcome to a very special edition of the IMI webinar Masterclass series. Today we're having a special behind the scenes look in the IMI kitchens, and we're going to enjoy a culinary demonstration with one of our talented culinary students, Will. Will, do you want to introduce yourself to our audience?
Yes, so my name is Will. I'm from Canada. I'm currently 20 years old and studying my higher diploma.
And what dish are you going to be demonstrating for us today?
Today I'll be making a scallops dish consisting of a butternut squash puree, a lemon butter sauce, and some multicolored carrots.
Okay, sounds delicious. I shouldn't have had such a big lunch. One of the real benefits of the IMI culinary programs are the small class sizes. As you can see, we have a nice small compact kitchen, and we don't tend to have more than 5, 6, 7 students in the class?
5 to 10, I'd say, on a busy semester.
Which gives great personal attention for our students. And the other major benefit is the paid practical experience that our students can get as part of their program. We're going to talk a little bit about that as we go, because I know Will's had a pretty exciting internship during his course. But hey, let's get started with the dish. What are we going to do first?
So first things first, we're just going to heat our pans up. So all the main sauces have already been prepped, but it's just for the carrots and the scallops. We're going to get this heating up.
So remind me, what are the two sauces that we have?
So it's a butternut squash puree and a lemon butter sauce.
Nice. Butternut squash sounds very autumnal for the Swiss winter. And how long have you been studying this for, Will?
I started in 2022. I started in certificate and went straight into my diploma semester.
Okay.
And then I did a 1-year internship in Bern.
Okay, cool. And you're now on your high diploma?
That's correct.
Yeah.
And then I will continue over to my bachelor's in February.
Okay, so you're going straight through.
Straight through.
Yeah. So as Will's getting on with a little bit of pan heating, the culinary arts course can be completed over a 2.5-year period. So there's 3 study semesters, a diploma, higher diploma, and a bachelor's with honours semester. And as part of the program, our students do a minimum of 12 months of paid internships. So Will's already ticked the box with the 12 months internship, but he's just going to complete his last couple of semesters, and then he will be an official graduate. And when you were looking for a culinary school, what made IMI stand out?
Well, I worked at a restaurant in Canada, and the manager of the restaurant actually went to another hospitality school in Switzerland.
Okay.
And she was like, "You would be great in this field. You should look into it if you're not planning on doing something else after high school." And I wasn't really sure. I had a lot of ideas, but I wasn't really set on what I wanted to continue with after high school. So I looked into IMI, she found it for me, and applied, and here we were. Originally, I was supposed to come for the summer program, but sadly due to COVID, it did get postponed. So
changed a few plans.
Yeah.
And when you arrived here in 2022?
Yes, term C, August.
What were your first impressions of the school in Switzerland?
I mean, I arrived here and it was absolutely stunning. The view here is amazing. Switzerland itself is such a beautiful country. I love the architecture, and the moment I stepped on campus, instantly people come up to you, they introduce themselves. They're so kind, they're so bubbly, and instantly made friends that I still talk to this day. That even though they're not studying here currently, still stay in contact with them. And every 3 months in the term, everyone's so eager to get out and meet new people. So you never have a problem meeting new people and finding new friends that you might have for the rest of your life. So
absolutely, we talk a lot about the IMI family, but I think we have a very small school community here, so a maximum of 150 students on campus each semester, and we have students from all over the globe. So I think it's about 35 nationalities here on campus at the moment. So it's a very easy community to get to know each other very quickly, both for the students and the faculty. Okay, so I'm seeing some action. Carrots.
Yes. So the carrots are going down. The carrots are going to be a little bit long because they have been blanched prior, but they're a dense vegetable. The scallops, don't need to cook for too long, usually 2 to 3 minutes aside. Just looking for that nice sear. And then I will baste them in a little bit of garlic and butter afterwards. So once we get a nice little smoke point on the oil here, we'll be able to put our scallops down. Our sauces are staying on a low temperature just to maintain heat, but them being both consisting of butter, too much heat will cause us to split. So just watching that.
Got to keep an eye on them.
Yes.
Yeah. While answering questions to a live webinar audience. Always an easy task. We should explain Will's did a little bit of pre-preparation in regard to the sauces. So actually what you're seeing here has involved a little bit more work than what you're going to see on screen. Yes. But we wanted him to have time to answer my questions, answer your questions. If you have any questions for Will, then feel free to leave them on any of the social channel platforms that you're watching on, and we will feed them through. But while we are waiting for that, okay, what's this?
So this is a pickled cucumber.
Mm-hmm.
Typically you'll call it pickle, but this is actually just a thinly sliced cucumber, and then it was pickled this morning. So this is going to add a little bit of acidity to the dish. It does have a lemon butter sauce, but the lemon butter sauce is a bit more on the fatty, buttery side to add some, lightness in there. But this will be consisting of a nice acidic additive, and it's also a bit of green. The dish has no green, so this will be nice to balance the color.
Balance out a little bit. Yeah. I mean, you're speaking to an absolute culinary novice, so this is pretty good for me to pick up some tips. But maybe give us an idea of what was your kind of skill level before you started your degree.
So I worked at a restaurant in Canada from the age of 14. So I started as a dishwasher, and for the first 8 months I worked there. It was all dishwashing, and then the manager asked me if I would like to continue in the back of house or to the front of house. Front of house I could go in the busser, clean tables, maybe work your way up to a waiter. But I really found more of a challenge in the kitchen, and I didn't really want to have an easy job. So I looked like, hey, I want to go into the kitchen. So I was into the kitchen, and I worked there from the end of the year when I turned 14 until 18, until I moved here to pursue a career at IMI.
Oh wow! So you started early.
I did indeed, yes.
And how have you found obviously being in the classes, both the culinary and the? I know you do a fair chunk of management theory with the culinary degree as well. Let's start with the culinary classes first. How have your skills developed? What have you learned? What have you taken from the education here or the training here?
Oh, of course. I mean, the education here taught by our amazing chefs are skills that you can't really obtain just from watching YouTube videos. Obviously, lots of chefs just learn it from doing it themselves, but the education that we have here, taught by these amazing renowned chefs from that worked all over the world. It's really great to see, and for them to share the skills that they've learned over the years while they've been in kitchens to the new younger generations of chefs that are coming up in this industry. So coming from a kitchen in Canada, here is more of a fine dining restaurant, our Swiss room, and a fine dining kitchen. So it's a lot more, detailed approach, very detail oriented. Whereas what I worked in before was more of a fast-paced kitchen. Mm-hmm. So coming from there to here, I think it's got me a lot of experience in not only being well-timed, time management, with great culinary skills, but also now focusing on such detail that, especially in Europe, fine dining, so very, very large.
It's pretty renowned, yeah. Yes. So you get a bit of a chance to refine the skill set and, focusing on the detail. So we should explain that Will obviously just mentioned the Swiss room. Here on the IMI campus, the Swiss room is our fine dining restaurant. So we serve a 4-course fine dining lunch every lunchtime in the restaurant. And this is a chance for our chefs, our culinary students, to get the chance of training as if they were in a real world working environment. Obviously, they're under the same time pressures. Our staff and our students can be demanding customers as can any. And it's a great opportunity to get the sense of a real world environment from the comfort of the campus and the IMI kitchens. And obviously, is this I just sort of start going?
Yeah, the scallops just went down.
What are we talking timings here? What's the optimum?
Usually 3 minutes aside.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, we're here on induction stove here. Ideally, gas is better to
Yeah.
obtain a larger heat because scallops, they're nice seared. So maybe 3-4 minutes aside for this. Flip them, nice color. Other side 3 minutes, and then I'll baste them with a little bit of butter and garlic just for the added flavor. And then once we get there, I think we'll start plating.
Awesome.
Slowly,
Okay.
slowly, we'll
Not long to go. Meals and minutes here at IMI. And of course, as I mentioned, it's not just all about in the kitchen, although that's obviously one of the highlights. Our culinary students also get a management theory basis as part of their education. Do you want to tell us a little bit about what life's like in the classroom once when you're not in the kitchen?
definitely. So obviously, yes, we have our culinary classes, which is a hands-on practical approach, and then we go into the classroom on other days, and we learn more about the management side of running a kitchen or the marketing for a restaurant that you may or may not open in the future or that you may work for. And we get to experience both sides of the industry, not only that hands-on approach, but the bigger aspect that's seen from the third eye view. So this education here not only preps you to be a cook, but a future manager, future restaurant owner, and it's great.
Great balance. Yeah.
Great balance.
Was that something when you were looking for a culinary program? Was that something that was important to you, having kind of the mix of skill sets?
I mean, I wasn't even considering the approach that I might offer. I thought it was just going to be all hands-on cooking, and then once getting here, I realized it's both, and I was opened the eyes a bit. I was like, wow, this is not only just cooking all day, 5 days a week. This is also you learning for a larger job of our position in the future, and it really changed my mind about this place. Like, I was so just thinking, I'm coming here to cook, and I'm going to leave here just knowing how to cook better. But now I'm leaving here knowing how to market a restaurant, manage a kitchen. We learn enough marketing and management skills to transfer to a hotel, and overall, it's just a great learning experience.
Yeah, absolutely. It's that sense of kind of future-proofing students, and you may come in thinking you want to be just work in a restaurant, work in a kitchen, be a cook. But as you kind of develop throughout the program, who knows what area the culinary industry is going to interest you, and why narrow your options when you can expand them, I guess.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay, I feel like we're getting quite close, so I'm going to try and get through a couple more questions before we plate up. And tell us about. I know you've got a pretty cool internship placement here in Switzerland. Do you want to tell us a little bit about why you did that and how that experience was?
So my internship was in Bern, Switzerland, at a 1-star Michelin restaurant, and I was starting as a kitchen trainee, but following the time being there, I had more of a my own post. So at first, I was in charge of the starters and the amuse-bouche for the restaurant. And though it's a Michelin restaurant and very, strict, and everything has to be very detail-oriented, the chef was very kind enough to, let you contribute. So any ideas you had, you could run it by him. You could make a little small dish. You would taste it, and he goes, you know what? This is good. You would put it on the menu. You would make it part of the a la carte menu, and you got to really, put your ideas out there. So I found that really nice. And then afterwards, I moved from the starters and amuse-bouche into the garde-manger and patisserie section. So I was running cold appetizers as well as all desserts. So that was my post. So I got a very large look at desserts and patisserie objects, and really opened my eyes. And I was never really a dessert cook.
No.
And that, almost 9 to 10 months of me working as a patisserie post really gave me some inspiration for desserts, and did increase the sweet tooth a little bit. I must say.
That's not a bad thing. Everything in moderation. And that must be a very cool feeling if you suggest a dish and you see it on a Michelin star menu. That must be a good boost. Do you have a particular favorite culinary style, or?
I can't say I do. I've always just been the type of person that likes to just see some ingredients and just understand different ways to cook them. And coming here, the kitchen classes we have, we learn by different chefs that are from different countries. We have a class called European Cuisine where we make multiple dishes from all over, and you really get a good understanding of the European cuisines as well as contemporary cuisines that I am studying this term. And from there, you really get to see not only cuisines that you may know about, but cuisines, for example, in Scandinavia that not very common. But our chef Jonas, he has given us one of the classes on Scandinavian cuisine, and it really opened my eyes. Like herring. I wasn't a big fan of herring, but he made this herring dish, and I think it was the best thing I've ever eaten. To be honest,
wow.
It was spectacular.
That's so conversion.
Definitely.
Okay, I'm aware we're neglecting this dish a little bit. We have a new pan. What's just gone in?
This is just with the garlic butter. I was going to saute it in the original pan, but it has a little bit of the crust from the excess fluids from the scallops, so I don't want to baste it in its own kind of junk, if you will. So I decided to just new pan, just a little garlic butter, quick sauce in there. They are pretty much already cooked. The resounding heat surrounding outside will help it finish up cooking. So
is it good to let scallops rest a little bit once they're out of the pan?
They don't need to rest too long. It's not like beef or anything like that, but it doesn't hurt the flavor at all. So
nice.
Always nice.
And as we said at the start, you have a 12 months left to finish your program yet.
Yes.
Any plans already for what comes next? Do you have a career goals in mind?
Yes. So I hope to obviously graduate in September, finishing my studies in August, followed by September graduation. And then I hope to go to Australia to work in the hotel. I would like to transfer out of kitchens, maybe try a hotel kitchen or as front of house, maybe F&B service. And I would like to do the Marriott Voyage program provided by them. And if that works out for me, I will be going to Perth to work at the Ritz-Carlton for an 18-month training program.
Amazing.
And so see the world, gain some experience, not only in the kitchen, but kind of help gain some more experience in the other side of the industry. So I have back of house and front of house.
I like that you're slowly working your way across the continents, Canada, Switzerland, Australia next. And I think, that's definitely something we see with our students and alumni. Hospitality is obviously an international career and global industry. And we have an alumni network that spans all corners of the globe. And I think this is a real benefit for our students like Will when they're going out into the industry, and they will often bump into people who studied at IMI 5, 10, 15 years ago, and there's always that connection. There's that IMI family, IMI family link, which lasts a lifetime.
Definitely.
And in terms of we talked a little bit about it at the start, but your student experience taken outside of the classroom, how have you found studying in Switzerland or studying within the German-speaking part?
I mean, I don't think the school itself is, changes anything about the language. It's an international school, so language being, English for all classes doesn't really change the aspect of the study. But the people here are just, fantastic and really make it worthwhile. Everyone's so kind, and everyone's participating nicely in a group work and class discussion, as well as out of class. Everyone's so friendly. We have it here in the rec area. We join for games in the evening after dinner or on weekends where everyone's going out with each other. Just really that university experience. So.
Some friends for life.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, awesome. Okay, how are we looking?
We're looking good. Scallops are finished. So now we're going to take these out, just let them rest a sec, just to get that excess butter off of them.
I'm trying to memorize everything I've learned so I can prepare this tonight at home, but I don't think there's much chance of me getting the same results.
So yeah, the carrots are also finished.
One thing I always like asking our culinary students, when it's an off day, when we're not preparing these kind of fancy fine dining dishes, what's your guilty food pleasure?
I mean, I just love a good steak, to be honest. I'll just indulge in a nice strip loin, New York strip loin, bring that home, go to the student kitchen, cook it up, and
Bit of a taste of North America.
oh yeah, the first restaurant I worked in was a steakhouse, so it's kind of left a big mark on that. So.
Okay, nice. Okay, so plating up.
Yes. So we have our plates.
So I guess now from a culinary perspective, I would just chuck all this in the middle of the plate, pour the sauce over. I'm guessing what you're going to do is something a little bit more refined.
Just a little bit.
Okay.
I mean, ideally, at the end, you're going to all want it together anyway for the most flavorful bite. But in this way, first impression, it's always visually. So
You eat a little bit with your eyes.
exactly.
Yeah. Okay, so maybe talk us through because, as I say, this is the bit I'm fascinated by,
Yes.
the artistry of that.
So first, we're going to have our butternut squash puree.
Mhm.
Nice little dollop there. With a clean spoon to help. We're going to smear a nice little strip.
Lovely.
And then we're going to take our scallops. We'll go from big to small. That's that. With our carrots.
In terms of the two sauces, is this kind of a classic recipe, or is it something that you've experimented with a bit?
This is just kind of freestyle, to be honest.
Okay.
Nothing really here. We've made separately in classes before, but nothing like this as in putting it all together. So this is more of a, you think of it, you try it.
I like that. And again, I think in the culinary classes here, there is that kind of possibility of experimentation. You have it's small enough, and you have enough attention and feedback with the lecturers that you can try things. You can
Definitely.
come up with your own concepts to an extent.
Oh, yeah. So this is some beet puree we've also made from last class.
Beautiful, vibrant colours there.
Oh yes. There's some flowers. I put the flowers on the last section. The pickled cucumber, and this is also some green apple couscous that I made earlier today.
You've been busy.
Oh yes. And this will just add a nice little bit of texture and height.
You see, it's deceptively complex for what seems a slightly simple dish on paper.
Oh, yes.
How many elements are we up to now? 6, 7?
Yeah, it looks like it. Yeah.
That's the artistry. And obviously a little floral arrangement to
Just for the color.
take us away from the Swiss snow and
Oh, yeah.
winter blues. Beautiful.
There we are.
Is this et voila? Okay, do you want to maybe show camera 2? Have a little close up of how attractive that plate looks?
This one here?
This one here, yeah.
Okay.
Show our audience.
I'll try to hold it on an angle nicely, but here we are. So under the scallops is the butternut squash puree, 3 sauteed scallops. Under this couscous here lies the lemon butter sauce with our arrangement of multicolored carrots, our pickled cucumber, and our beet puree.
Amazing. Okay, so rest assured, as soon as the camera stops rolling, we're going to devour this dish.
Of course.
But we'll leave it in place for now. I suppose I'm just checking. I don't think any questions have got through to us yet, but I think Will's done a pretty good job of answering certainly everything I've thrown at him while preparing a delicious, good-looking dish. So that's pretty impressive. Maybe last message. Hopefully, we've been joined by a few students who may want to study culinary arts with us or culinary management in the future. What would your recommendation? What would your take home of your time so far at IMI be?
I mean, if you're looking for an experience of a lifetime, I would come. You're not gonna gain any more experience than a international school with international chefs with international students. There's so many cultures, there's so many ethnic groups, so many different cuisines that you experience, and really you come here and you just leave with so much more knowledge and so many more friends than you could have expected. So
you summarized that far better than I could. Well, thank you so much. Amazing to see you in action, and I hope you've enjoyed the latest edition of our live webinar masterclasses. Tune in for the next one.